Hi, in this quick video, I'm going to run a sense-making session with ChatGPT. I'm going to take a stab at a view on a topic, and then I'm going to sense test it, let's call it, with ChatGPT. So ChatGPT, in case you didn't know, is an AI tool that's just been launched by OpenAI, and it's all the rage at the moment. I've been using it for a while, and I thought this would be a good format in which to test it. The topic of discussion is office versus remote work trade-offs. I work in the business of collaboration software, productivity software, and which often supports remote work. So I'm very much involved in this area, and I've seen lots of conflicting signals around this. So I wanted to take a stab first on what I thought the trade-offs were, and I'm going to run through that with you, and then I'll give you the answer that ChatGPT provides. First, I want to just walk you through some of my own thoughts. I've captured a little doodle here on the trade-offs between office work and remote work, and I took a stab at the first 3 points and then added the fourth based on input from ChatGPT. But you'll see that the first 3 points are all more or less captured by ChatGPT. So that's the good first sign. Anyway, just quickly to go through this, I've basically split it into two: office work on the left, remote work on the right. I've added some keys. Basically, the numbers apply to the perspective from an employer, from an employee, and then I've just kind of summarized the number two into what I think is probably the umbrella is productivity. Just to go through them 1 to 4, for me, the big point is that for the employer, from the employer's perspective, rental and employee costs apply when you have an office and you bring employees into the office. When there's just remote work, then there's only employee costs to consider. For number 2, I think the obvious one is that people will say that you have better innovation and collaboration in an office, and then from a home point of view, it's easier to focus. Point 3 is around again, when you have to go to the office, you have to commute. Often that takes time, which is ultimately dead time. On the opposite side, with remote work, often you have blurred boundaries. And then the last point is around company culture, and which is strengthened when you're in the office and people are together. And at the same time, when you're working from home, you're connected to your family and you have more me time. So that's the view I had. Okay, here we are with ChatGPT. And as you can see, I've asked it a question. Let me zoom in quickly. The question is, what are the different trade-offs between office work and remote work? And this was done after I had my initial take, which you saw in my doodle. So let's just go through the answers here very quickly. Obviously not going to go through too much detail. Collaboration, they called out separately. I bundled it together with productivity. Makes a lot of sense, and they do call out some obvious points about face-to-face interaction and collaboration is more effective, etc. As I say, I bundled it together with innovation, and the umbrella was productivity, in my opinion. They've called it out separately. Social interaction, yeah, I kind of made that point about, well, more opportunities for social interaction, which can improve employee morale and well-being. Remote work can provide opportunities for solitude, so great for introverts. Communication, I don't understand why that was called out. I think collaboration tools allows for spontaneous communication, asynchronous communication even, which is far better. So I'm not sure why. Company culture is one that they pointed out. ChatGPT, which I guess is a they. Yeah, this was one that I hadn't initially listed in my very quick thinking. So good shout out there. And I do agree that remote work can be harder for teams to build culture and for company culture to be strengthened, as I pointed out. Cost is the big one for me. I'm going to cover this in a little more detail in a moment, but this for me is the biggest reason where remote work might continue for a long time to come. They do talk about saving money on commuting, and while office work can save on money on home office equipment and internet costs, that's not quite the view that I had in mind. Mine is based on, well, not just my view, but here you see an example of an article just recently written, January 9th. And as true or not as it may be, I kind of agree with the point. So let me just dive in again here. Essentially, the point being made is that whereas Elon Musk initially thought that employees needed to come back into the office, he's now supposedly thinking, hold on, maybe on understanding the costs of bringing employees into the office, maybe it's better for them to work remotely. And, for me, it's all about costs like rent, and other services, cleaning and security, but rent being the biggest one. So that for me is the big point. Here's another article, similar kind of sentiment. This is behind a paywall. I can't show you too much, but the headline, it says it all in the headline. The coming recession could kill the office once and for all. When cost is a massive factor, you can imagine that paying to bring people into the office where they could just as easily work from home is going to factor in really in a big way, which I would agree with. Hi, thanks for watching. Hopefully that was useful, interesting, different. I'm going to be doing more of this, so come back for other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.